Let's go.
And we're live.
With Roy?
Yeah. And we're live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We're launching 5 podcasts today across the globe. We've got from Perth in Australia to San Diego in the USA. We've also got in Canada and in France, and I'm in Poland. So the objective is we're all launching at the same time. We've just done a course with London Real with Brian Rose for the last 2 months. And I'm going to introduce all of the guests and they can explain about their podcast. So Mikael, you might go first. What's the name of your podcast and what's it all about?
The name of my podcast is Mikael Cura Personalis. Why I did choose this name? Just because I have been experiencing with the football professional players that I can develop and protect and cleanse and heal them even from distance to prevent them from injury. And why and how I did it, just because everyone is different. Everyone, I believe, is a star. Like the football, some of them are stars. If you don't want to avoid your destiny of a star, you have to find the cura personalis of yourself. If that makes sense, Roy.
Yes, of course, it does indeed. Yes, beautiful. So, Michael Byrd, how are you doing in San Diego? You might tell us about the name of your podcast and what it's all about.
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here this morning. And the show is called Icon. And the premise is going from ex-con to icon and demonstrating, how people who have been through the prison system here in America go through the system, jump through the hoops, and statistically they shouldn't make it, but they still make it. No one tells those stories and lets them tell their stories. So this started off as a musical type show like American Idol, because I couldn't get any of my music talent that had felonies in their past on the show. And I thought, well, I'll put my own show together. And it was kind of cost prohibitive, and Hollywood wasn't really big on taking chances on ex-cons. So when this came up as a podcast, and I've been pushing this for over 4 years now, and then I just clicked like podcast was the way to do it. And then I can include everybody who's been through the system and who's successful and has a story to tell.
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah. And I believe that everybody's got a story and everyone deserves forgiveness. They've served their time. So I love what you're doing. Our next gentleman is Samuel Bhérer.
Samuel Bhérer. Thank you very much. Yeah. Good
Bhérer.
Pronunciation. Yeah. Well, yeah. Nice to meet you all. I'm really happy. I'm really proud to tell you that I've become a conspiracy theorist over the years, Although I do think that the meaning has changed quite a bit over the past couple months with everything that's unfolding in the world, but still a lot of people still talk about conspiracy theorists. I used to teach English in Korea. I was there for quite a while. I was there for 15 years. And it's a movie I watched over 10 years ago called Zeitgeist that really got me going in my head. They did a great job at giving people a different point of view. And that's what triggered my conspiracy researching obsession or hobby or passion. And I started researching the big giants, David Icke and Alex Jones and Max Egan. And thank you very much. All right, I got coffee delivered. Thank you. And it was a hobby for me. But I always did it in a very passive way. I was all over that, but I was listening, I was reading. But now I'm back home. I quit my job in Korea. I was tired with the pollution. I was tired of wearing a mask, for the pollution. So now that I'm back here, I'm really happy to be able to toss the mask. The air is so clean and beautiful, and you can see the clouds. But I'm not going to start wearing a mask here, right? But now it's like I have to. Like in Quebec, masks are already mandatory everywhere in all public spaces, closed spaces. And I haven't been to a single shop yet. I don't want to go. I just don't want to wear a mask here. It's crazy. There's nothing scientific behind that. So doing a long story short, in a nutshell, I'm back home and I'm ready to start this podcast and expose the truth. And also, like Roy said, not just expose the truth, but also offer solutions. What can people do, because we're living in very confusing times. So, yeah. All right. My podcast is called Conscious Pushback.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Samuel. And now all the way to Perth, the guy with the very famous looking studio. Please welcome Kealan Harrington.
Famous, infamous, notorious, who knows? Thank you. Hey, so Going the Ultra Mile is a podcast that's built around inspiring greatness to people. My aim is to take viewers and listeners on a journey of transformation through the experience of my guests. And the purpose is to challenge their beliefs, make them look at their accountability mirror, and inspire them to take action to change their lives so that they can, be 100% themselves and live the life that they want and not a quiet life of desperation. So that's what we're kind of built around. Where we've come from is a long journey. Where we're going is a great road ahead with a bright North Star, especially with a team like this and who we've met along the last couple of months and the different opportunities that have come up. So I'm very proud to have this podcast. I'm very proud that it's come this far. I'm super proud of the people that I've met along the way. Great collaborations have been taking place, and I wouldn't change anything in the world from where things have come from to where they are now. Tell me, Roy,
Absolutely.
do you want to fill me in a bit more about your podcast?
Okay, yeah, it helps if I talk about my one. Yeah, mine is called the Awakening Podcast, and it's basically where I'm exposing corruption and fraud with solutions. So I don't go conspiracy theory, I go fact. I don't believe in whistleblowers, I believe in truth tellers. So it's all based about telling people the truth. I've got doctors, I've got pharmacists that are basically showing you how to get yourself healthy naturally, and also how we can make a change to the systems. Because I believe we can't go fighting all these different systems, because that doesn't work. They've got budgets behind them. We can actually create something different and something better, and that's going to make a change in the world. So
That sounds very inspiring.
Excellent. So, Mikael, you might tell us about who you plan to have on the show. What's your actual plan for?
Basically, I have, thank you, Roy. I have two. If I want to explain to you who I want to have as a guest and who I want to host on my show, basically they could be ideally the stars of the football industry, whether they are players, football association leaders, or football professional club owners, sport director. Every professionals of the football industry will be the focus of mind in my guest, right? But also because the plan of mine and the reason why the podcast was an idea for me to start now is because I have an international educational program that I want to offer online through the big brand or the big names of the football industry that can attract massive amount of people in that great education that I have been taught myself along my way, my journey, educating, coaching, training, and sorry.
These things happen when we're live.
Training, managing. Yeah, I know that's not a problem. So I've been taught how to educate, coach, train. That was my first job in the football. I was a player and a football trainer. But then I've been taught the whole education that everyone should receive at school or with our parents or at the football club, whether they're amateur or professional, for us to understand on a better way what you just talked about yourself, what is the truth, what is not the truth. And when we know or discover the truth, we realize that life is health, that life is protection, that life is happiness, that life is good relationship, and not everything that we are unfortunately used to see, watch on the mainstream media, or had even as an example with our parents. And so the goal of mine with that podcast is to deliver, because of the guests, possibly stars of the football industry, to as massive amount people possible, and children, teenager, obviously the main focus of mine, for them to receive in the beginning of their life the right education for them to have under their control at least mental, emotional health, physical, physiological health, but also professional, financial health, because we all need to provide that to our children and teenagers. And the football will be the tool of mine with that podcast to represent the kind of education that I've been using with success with great stars of football industry like Didier Drogba, Florent Malouda, Salomon Kalou, Eric Carrière, and 50 other professional players that never got injured. And for some of them have become tremendously successful and winners of a great title in the football industry.
Excellent. Well, I can see a lot of people would benefit from that. So that sounds very interesting. Next, I'll go on to Mikael Byrd. Mikael, I've actually done a podcast with Mikael, so I know your story. It's a beautiful story. But what you have done is you've written a book recently. And like, I read a lot of books. I read 100 books a year. And to me, that will be in the top 5. It is a fantastic book. Maybe you'd like to tell the audience about your journey.
It's kind of a, it's a hard life lesson that took me 50 years to learn. And, when you just look around and you realize that you've alienated everybody in your life, and the common denominators, is me, because I'm the only one there, and I've pushed everybody away. And, I didn't realize how fucked up I was until I knew how fucked up I was. And when you're faced with that, you either, you come to that point where it's either I'm just going to not give a shit, or I didn't realize how bad it was. And now I do. Now I need to do the work to change. And that was a little over 4 years ago. And my therapist said, I was ready to take medication. I was just like, fuck it. You know what? Maybe I am manic bipolar. I don't know. I'm tired of the Mike show. And everybody else was around me. And I had some really good help with my psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, and they wanted to monitor me and just kind of wait and see. And after a year, they said, we really can't tell. So I took a long test. It's the MMHI, which is the Minnesota Mental Health Institute test. And it looks for certain things. And it's like a 700 question test. And it came back that I have severe PTSD and drugs won't help it. It would placate my feelings at the time, but that keeps me from being able to progress by having to learn how to control my feelings and then go back and retrain my brain how to, create new memories and correct ways to handle situations that used to be painfully uncomfortable that would just cause me to I couldn't deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And that would make me more frustrated. So knowing that, and then taking that time by myself for almost, a little over 4 years, I could see the benefits. And so the book is a culmination of what I've learned, a lot of it by, consequences of good and bad choices, a lot of bad choices, when you're married 6 times, I could write a really good book about marriage because, if you've been married 6 times, I can tell you how fucking to fuck up a good marriage 6 different times, 6 different ways. So I can tell you exactly 6 ways not to do it, what not to do 6 times at least. And, so there's benefit to that too. So I can just take all these things, turn them around and go what can I teach other people? And if I can save them, like I was talking to Kealan yesterday, I didn't realize he was only 30. I said, he rephrased something that was very significant. He said, I grew up and I said, I will never be like my parents. And I wasn't. I was just another version of fucked up. He said, when he held his baby, he said, I don't want my baby to be like me. If I would have made that identification back then, oh man. So I told him, I said, you can save yourself 24 more years of pain if you look at the world that way, rather than the way I looked at it for a long time, ignorantly. So yeah.
Thanks, Michael. And now listen.
What's the name of your book?
Life's Little Instruction Book. But Roy has convinced me, and I think Kealan too, that I'm going to maybe test out the other, another title that we had. It was 31 Days to Your Best Life Ever, or something along those lines.
Exactly. No, it's a beautiful book. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure we'll make sure that people will be able to find it anyway.
I'd like to read it.
I'll send everybody a copy too. I'll send you all a copy.
Yeah, please do.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
So, Samuel, we've all got to know each other through this course, and I saw that you actually, is it 4 or 5 languages that you speak? And
it's 3.5, 3 3/4 maybe, yeah. Well, I'm a French, it's true, I'm a French Canadian, and I lived most of my life in Quebec until I went to Korea, and I lived 15 years in Korea. And I also lived a year in Spain before that. So my Spanish is pretty good. It's very close to French, so it's very easy to learn a Latin language if you already know one. When I arrived in,
love language.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. All those languages are truly beautiful: French, Italian, Spanish. So my Spanish is pretty good, just lacking the practice maybe. But yeah, and then I arrived in Korea in 2003, and I had to start from scratch with a language that has nothing to do with any language that you know. Everything is completely different. The grammar is different. The words are different. The letters are different. So that was a nice challenge. And it's really hard at the beginning because you don't have any reference point, right? And you're fully immersed, and it was a nice experience. Yeah. So I would say I speak 4 languages right now. A little bit of Chinese because I had a Chinese girlfriend for a while I was in Korea. She was a fantastic cook. She could cook 70 dishes. I miss that. I really miss Korea. I miss the food. You know, in Asia, every country has its own cuisine, its own culture, its own language, and it's not the same here in North America. It's a bit more homogeneous.
Will your podcast be only in English, or are you going to apply your skills and have a multi-language?
Well, that's interesting because I was in Korea for 15 years and I did a lot of research in English, right? And I had no idea who the giants were here in Quebec, in the French part of Canada. There's some very good alternative news people, but I had no idea who they were until I came here and until I saw a newspaper article that my father gave me. And that newspaper article was called Pandemic of Fake News. And it was really funny because in that article, they were trying to discredit, to humiliate a conspiracy theorist, like you say, right? People trying to expose their understanding of what's really going on. People asking questions, you know, it gets to a point where people asking questions are dubbed conspiracy theorists, you know. And so inadvertently, I got to find out about 5 or 6 people who are really popular here in Quebec for doing that I had no idea about. So through that article, Pandemic of Fake News, I got to, they were showing the pictures of the 5 conspiracy theories. And I looked them up one by one and I listened to their interviews. I went to their websites, you know, oh, this actually makes a lot of sense. It's just like everything I've ever done, but in French here in Quebec, where I currently am, right? I'm back home now. So that was just really funny because I had never had exposure to the people here doing that, you know, doing what I really interested. And, so I started reaching out to them. Some of them have replied. I don't have any interviews yet, but I'm getting there. At least some of them replied, which is so I'd like to do I'd like to capitalize on my my multiple languages that I know. I'd like to do something maybe bilingual, or I don't know. We'll see. Maybe have different podcasts in different languages.
Watch this space, basically. So
yeah.
See what's going to happen. Perfect. And Kealan, I know that you've a book deal coming up, and you might also tell us about planned guests.
Yeah, so I have a trilogy book deal signed. So we've got a couple of books over the next few years. Definitely enough life content to fill a series or 2. So I'm excited about that. And some really awesome things is I've looked up to the likes of Tony Robbins when I've gone through my journey of transformation, you could say, as well as the likes of Brian Rose, London Real, David Goggins. And since this journey started, and the likes of meeting everybody here, for example, you know, because everybody here has had a unique story. Samuel, you've lived in a couple of different countries. Mikael, you were connected to famous football players. Mikael, you know, we had an incredible talk as well, and your journey is definitely one that I've been inspired by. And then as a side note, you kind of throw in, you know, son-in-laws that are in the UFC and, you know, friends of yours and Sons of Anarchy and things like that. And Roy, you're Irish, you're from only over the road from me, and you're in Poland, and some of the in-depth discussions that we've had have been amazing. And then, you know, you've got the likes of David Icke coming on your show. So that's what I have loved about all of this, is the pursuit of the journey of transformation brought, say, the book deal up, which, and ironically, my publicist is friends with Tony Robbins. So that was cool, that connection. We connected with London Real, and, you know, all the people that I've been inspired by over the years, you know, I've come either in contact with them directly or indirectly, and then a whole plethora of things opened up between the likes of us. And that for me has been an amazing part of the podcasting journey, the business transformation journey. And it's just been a wild ride so far, you know. So I'm looking forward to what's coming up on my events with that. We've got the book deals, which is part of the story. And then we got the Guinness World Records that I'm breaking with a collaboration with the Hoff method. I'm sure you all know the breathing techniques from the Hoff. So that's what's kind of coming up in the near future.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. And just for myself, I've written a book, and that's what the podcast is based on. It's The World Revolution, The Awakening. on the guests that I've had. I've had a pharmacist, the renegade pharmacist that was exposing the pharmaceutical industry, a doctor that's giving cures for with diet for cancer, Dr. Marek Roland. As Kealan said, I'm going to have David Icke. I'm also going to have somebody on about the hemp. So a lot of interesting topics coming up. So I'm looking forward to it. So before we end, I know that I have benefited an awful lot from this London Reel. I have like 3 other podcasts and they've all done well, but I know that I've upped my level so much from actually doing this course with London Reel and with Brian Rose. And I'd just like to know your input, why you've done it and what benefits you've got. So Mikael, you might let me know.
Yes, that's a good reflection to have, because after 2 months, 3 months now, I have started the Business Accelerator, and in the middle of the Business Accelerator of London Reel, I have jumped into that broadcast yourself, because in order to reach the micro niche, as we say in London Reel, the micro niches. So who are the 1,000 true fans of yours? So the Business Accelerator taught me that my macro niche should be the professional football club owners. And then I was like, yes, but my audience are the players, because the reach of mine, the mission of mine, talking about education, training, and even management for some of them are the players, right? And so then I started the broadcast to discover and search that my micro niche there was the players, young players from 13 years old to 18. So yes, Business Accelerator both, and also broadcast yourself together from the London Reel Academy have brought to me lots of tools and lots of knowledge that I didn't have at all, and I'm still getting them anyway, in technology, but also, and I was very surprised, positively surprised with all the businesses knowledge, how to, for example, the end-to-end ecosystem of my business is much more clear now because of Brian Rose's expertise on it. And I have a very clear picture now on how to pitch my business, but also how to have the vision of it myself with 2 micro niche, and then the mission of mine, because of London Reel help, is really now I know how to do it, and I know I will do it. So for the confidence of a business, the Business Accelerator is huge, and for the confidence of the man, the broadcast yourself is fantastic, because you really work on yourself on a daily basis, and this is why I love it, guys. To be with you today is a tremendous experience. I'm learning from guys that it's not by luck. You all have, like me, a very specific cura personalis, so you're really having a journey that you have become aware that now you can teach others to benefit the people who are recognize it, in need of it big time at the minute, because it's kind of the spiritual revolution of the whole billions of people on earth. And I'm specialized in football. I'm specialized in health, so in education, because to be you have to know what life's rules are, what your body rules are, and how also the professional rules are, because if on earth, if you are not making money, you're not going to be healthy a long time, for sure. So let's put all together London Reel and Brian Rose and his team. Now us, part of his team, is a fantastic thing that can really help a bunch of population to not only succeed, but get rid of all the fears, of all the misunderstanding things that we all fortunately, to get up. So this is why I'm so happy to be part of your team here today. We are Sunday. It's like the day of God in France, but for me, every day is a day of God. Every day I'm on holiday, and every day I'm working. But like Brian Rose said, I'm not working. I never work. I'm always on holiday. I can work 24 hours a day if I stay awake. If you see me sleep, no worries.
Fantastic.
And I'm sure you're all the same. We all the same kind of people. We all stars that are hosting guests for them to explain what have been special in their life that can help others. And I love it. I love it. So I suppose I will do the Life Accelerator one day or another too.
Brilliant. Why not? Why not? So, Michael, what about your experience? Michael Byrd, what's your experience with the?
Oh, I think it's been great. I think, I think the best part has been, all the people, all the people that are involved. I was talking to Blossom last night, and, that was probably the biggest thing. It's like, I've never been involved with, these many amounts of people, and there's not one person that have like a bad ego or, it was usually there'll be someone that everyone goes, oh God, they're going to talk. No, and there was nothing like that. There was like everybody got along. There was nobody's stealing time. Everybody, was very positive and helpful. And that was a great experience. I mean, I've never had it where you have 100% of the people just all get along.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
No, I agree. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, it's a great community for sure.
Yeah, Samuel, what's your
Great spirit of community. Yeah, well, it's been great. Even if you're a little bit behind, no one's going to let you down. That's what I really like about the course. I'm impressed by the work you guys have done, just putting this together, this launching. It's been great, and it's a very good community. The London Real community is fantastic. Once you engage and you pay the money and you commit to do the work, you're going to do it. You're going to end up doing it, right? And so, yeah, I'm grateful for all that support. You do. You work on yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Join like-minded people, for sure.
And the man in the fancy studio, Mr. Kealan, with the globe next to you, or is it a drinks cabinet?
Yes, it's a secret stash. As soon as camera goes out, I'm on there. No. First of all, I just noticed the audience is engaging a bit as well. So that's really awesome that people have taken a bit of time out to come and view us. So I want to just say thanks to the audience for taking a bit of time out and collaborating. And don't forget to check out all of our podcasts, click the links and make sure you check us all out. But look, with regards to the experience, it's been fantastic. And again, it was emphasized going on this journey why I undertook it. It was the idea of networking with people, like-minded individuals. Because there's something kind of special about entrepreneurs and podcasters. And what I mean by that is it's slightly uncommon. It's a hard road to walk. And when you get in this unity of the community that you find yourself in, it makes a huge difference to your self-esteem, your confidence, because life hits everybody on a daily basis. It happens, or on a weekly basis. And you can get a bit of a wobble. And everybody here, like Michael Byrd said, not one bad ego. People come in, they help you, they go out of their way, they drop you a message. Whatever it is, something to be kind, courteous, compassionate, and show empathy. And I've never seen it in that volume, so concentrated in a large group of people. And that for me has been hugely amazing. It's helped me along my journey. And it's also, I guess inspired me. That is, I've been hugely inspired by a lot of the people that I've met. And one of the things that has been really cool is when you kind of leave the academy and you start meeting more people that you didn't get a chance to know during that time. It's like got this constant oscillating effect, and you're making new connections, or someone turns around and says, oh, I've got a link to that person and I can get you in contact. So for me, it's been amazing from that perspective. I've landed in a place in life that I always felt I knew I wanted to get there, but I could never see that success path, how to make it happen. And that's what it gave me. It gave me tools and knowledge to actually start paving the way towards what I always felt was what I wanted to do. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, and who knows what's next. What about you, Roy? How did it work out for you? What are your feelings on the whole course?
Well, the main thing is the people, because I know that I'll have friends for life from this course, and that's one of the most important things, because you can't put a price on friendship. Regarding doing the course, I've done a load of courses in my lifetime, and I think it's one of the best I've ever seen because of the accountability document, because they have a list of everybody and what you're supposed to do, and it makes you get off the chair and drive on. And I think we've all pushed ourselves further than we believed we could do because of that. So I'm mighty impressed with it. I'm looking forward to where we're going to go. And listen, I mean, we're going to have all the links for your podcast anyway. The main purpose of this call is that we want people to subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, share. We've got YouTube channels, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram. We want you to actually subscribe. And anything to end, Mikael, final statements?
Yes, as a conclusion, you know, I don't believe in luck. And I was looking at the COVID-19 and the football championship who all stopped all over the world like anything else. And guess what? This August, on a daily basis, the best players, the best team in Europe are competing on a daily basis. It started 2 days ago with Lyon, who qualified against Juventus of Torino. And now in Lisbon, every best team of our planet are all together. There are 8 so far. They will play only three games each of them, and they will play on a daily basis. So I will have a podcast only on that game, hopefully with guests, the whole August, not only to train, but to explain to the audience of mine that are the players that are on holidays, most of them, what I'm supposed to help them and how I can also ask a partnership and help with all those big brands of the football industry for all the players to understand that they have solutions like London Real, like Football Management Academy, like Coughlan, like online things that have become friends. And what I like is only because we are online, also because we are human beings, and not being together because of COVID, because of society, because of now it's technology. And so guess what? The love and the peace on earth will win for sure, because guys like us are offering our heart and our knowledge and our journey to the youngest people of our populations and even adults, for them to become our friends like we never could do before. And I really love what's happening. So thank you very much for everything that's happening on earth, even if lots of people and us are suffering. But if we focus on the good rules that life or God provide us, it's always for us to grow spiritually towards peace and love. So no critics. We don't care about governments, about what they're doing. We know what our society is all about, unfortunately. But it's fortunate also because it gives us a chance to explain and demonstrate by example that we can be healthy, successful, happy friends online. Thank you, COVID-19. And hopefully lots of people will profit from that period.
Yes, exactly. Mikael, Byrd, any final words for us?
Everybody deserves a second chance in life.
Yes, beautiful.
I agree with that. Yeah,
100% agree with you. 100%.
Yeah.
Samuel?
Well, I'm just grateful for this opportunity, you know, that we have to be able to look at facts objectively and be able to come to our own conclusions, you know, and help people do that. Look at the facts and, you know, yeah. I'm grateful for that opportunity, for the fact that we still have that chance, you know.
Yeah, very good. Kealan, any final words for us?
To anybody that's listened to this, and if they've taken value out of this, fantastic. But in order for you to go on and pave your success path and have your inspiring journey, all I can say is there's never an easy time to make a hard decision, but don't procrastinate, because there might not be a tomorrow, as all of us here have had very close experiences in knowing. So look, do it, take action, and all the best to everybody. Roy,
Finish
what
what
about you?
start.
I believe that if you want to see change in the world, be the change that you want to see. And then we'll...
Oh, Gandhi.
Wow.
Beautiful. Well said.
That's a winner.
Well said.
That's a winner.
So thank you all,
That's the word.
gentlemen. Thanks for everybody for listening. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to give us 5-star
you.
rating, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Good job, man.
Thank you, Roy. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks for
everybody.
putting this together, man. You did a really good job. Thanks.
And we